because I was muted. If you couldn't hear me, I was muted. Those on Instagram, you can hear me. Well, welcome again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, and thank you again for joining tonight on Talk and Sit. Remember to like and share. You couldn't hear me before because I was muted. I was actually doing a test. Yeah. Now you can hear me on Instagram, but for those on YouTube and Facebook couldn't hear me a while ago because I was muted. It's a lovely day, lovely Saturday evening in the UK. Today I was out in the park, and while I was out in the park, I was enjoying I spent some time watching some dogs today, and these dogs were just having a field day, just having a warm time. They got away from their owners, and they were just running into this little pool of water in the park, and they were just having a field day. And I sat there. I posted on my page, and I sat there and just watching these dogs, just having a field day. Hey Jody, how are you guys? And just watching them enjoying themselves, happy-go-lucky, and they just have a free day, field day, and I just watch them. And what it conjures up to me is freedom. If the animals, and the birds, as I listen to the birds in the morning, if they can have this level of freedom and not having any sort of inkling or care about life in a way, where their food is going to come from or so, I said to myself, how much are we worried about things, You see, my topic today talk about UK recessions. And well, first of all, my apologies. What are you drinking? Well, I'm drinking. I am drinking some Shiraz Cabernet. Yeah, Cabernet. Just a little stick there. Yeah. I'm not going to have that much. I like to ask people as well, what is it that you are drinking or sipping today? I like to always have my water, my crystal punch. Cheers. As they say in the UK, cheers. It's tonight. I have you having water. Great for you. Tonight I have an interesting panel of guests. We have been talking a lot about the youth in Jamaica, youth period, not just Jamaica. You see these little fights going on, and you wonder what's going on. Don't they have any sort of dispute resolution that they can work with? Gaza, yes, I see you, Gaza there. So tonight, what we're gonna do tonight is to have a few guests, and they're from the St. Mary. I'm gonna have the Custos of St. Mary. I'm gonna have Mr. Burchell James and Miss Donique. And the interesting thing is about the St. Mary JP Outreach Empowerment Initiatives. Yeah. St. Mary JP Community Outreach and Empowerment Initiative, COEI. It's a mandate from the Honorable Custos of St. Mary, Errol V. Johnson. Right? And that's Mr. Johnson there, Errol V. Johnson, Custos of St. Mary. He's going to come on tonight, not so long from now, and going to talk about how the solutions for youth and the empowerment and how they can actually make it better. They seek to engage the service of the JPs of St. Mary in a collaborative effort with other citizens and entities of the parish in an effort to uplift persons and communities in need of assistance and support. Please share the show. Please invite your friends to come on. At the same time, I'm going to have Miss Donique Smith. Miss Donique Smith is going to be coming on tonight. And that's her, Miss Donique Smith. She'll be coming on tonight as well. Miss Donique Smith, she's a strong-willed, anointed servant of the Kingdom of God, teacher, assistant grade coordinator, and pursuing a second master's degrees at Liverpool Johns Moore University in Leadership Education. She's going to be coming on tonight, also as a part of the team in this effort here. I'm going to also have Mr. Burchell James, a gentleman that I know from Jamaica as well, and through Wesley Boynes, who actually is the leader for Northgate Fellowship and Northgate High School. Actually, Wesley Boynes is the one who actually married me, myself and my wife. You know, Burchell James, as I mentioned earlier, is a financial and management consultant with over 40 years experience in the tourism and small business development sector, who gain a wide and varied international experience in accounting and finance. An international trainer of mediators, founding member and president of the Jamaica Association of Mediators Limited, registered farmer for more than 40 years, even though he looks like 41. He has been involved in the cultivation of coconut, pimento, wild rearing chicken and small ruminants. So he's a part of the team as well. So they're going to be having this conversation tonight. But most importantly, I'm going to be talking also about recession proof. Anil will join me later, and Usiva, we're going to talk about recession. We're going to talk also about the red wave in America, this red wave which should have come. We can't move away from the whole aspect of leadership in the world. We spoke about that many times, about leadership in the world at this time, where we find that it's somewhat lacking. One of the things that we find even very concerning is the whole recession and high cost of living, which many people have said have been spooked by the advent of Russia and Ukraine. And when we think about Russia and Ukraine, we see something whereby the whole world, to a certain extent, is doing everything. And I don't know, it's like taking the whole world for hijacking the whole world in a way. And it's difficult to say for the sake of a nation, but the whole world is feeling the pinch. And then at the same time, you got Putin is actually pulling out of Ukraine in some respect. Why is he doing that? Is he looking and saying, hang on a second, let me just take a walk. Let me just, while everybody is actually maybe saying I'm a coward or whatever, let me just take a walk. That's very interesting. I always find it very interesting to also talk about Irvin. You know, got to speak about these guys. Can't forget these guys here. Can't forget these guys. Kanye and Irvin. They're very important factors in the world at this time. You know, today I was walking through Lewisham, came upon some Black Hebrews or persons, you know, talking about, I think that's their religion. And very interesting what they were saying. But one of the things that I say all the while, that it's so important for persons to be able to have conversation, to have thought pattern, and to be able to think outside the box, to be able to think. And the more I think about that, the more I start to think. And the more you think about that, the more you also start to think. And then you wonder why so many things which are in the books are kept in books. You know, Kyrie Irving mentioned that. And I have to keep touching on the point about the suspending, not suspension, not suspenders, suspension of these guys. But I think it's a high time now that as a people and even Black people to recognize how much, you know, how much that we actually have the spending power. How much we have the spending power that we can work wonders. You know, if we say we want to shut down Nike, I tell you what, I believe that black people spend more on Nike and all these brand names. When I look at these guys like Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, when you check what they're wearing, they're not wearing nothing brand. They're just wearing a t-shirt. I wouldn't be surprised if the same t-shirt maybe wear every day. Not a big deal. What is it in a brand name? Because many things just have this brand name on it, and sometimes it is come from some countries whereby there's child labor, child slavery, and all that makes a difference is sticking in that brand name, Nike, Adidas. How important is that? And then at the same time, you can have some great quality stuff, quality material from some quarters, but because it hasn't got a brand on it, it's not important or not exciting. I have a Nike hat. I got a Nike hat, and there it's there. But I said there's going to be a time when I'm going to actually stop wearing it. But I stop wearing it, but I'm going to wear it one more time. And that time I'm wearing it, I'm going to wear it one more time, and then I'm just going to transfer it, take it off the scene, and bring on my own hat. Walk and talk, motivational moments, creating your own brand, creating your own. And one of the things that I was speaking about with brand, and this is just me talking until my guests come, God has created us in a very special way. You know that. And I was thinking about it the other day, that the transition moment when God created us, and God said, man, it's not good for Silburn to be alone, man. It's not good for man to be alone. So I'm going to get him a wife, get him somebody, And then God just bring in a sleep. Go to sleep, Silburn. And then while God put Silburn to sleep, God went in and took out the rib and bring out a woman. You get what I'm trying to say? And then he said, go forth. Brand new. Brand new. Can you think about that? But guess what? He put you to sleep. And I always talk about the morning. The morning is like the transitional zone where things happen. And when I walk in the park in the morning, sometimes it's that transitional zone where things happen, breakthrough happen, because it's like something new, something brand. And that's why I always say to person, always even be careful about persons who brand you. They can brand you into what you're not or what you should be, And that's one of the key things. I'm just saying hi to Sir Johnson. I can see him there. I can see you. Awesome. So that's the key thing. I just want to encourage that in all things, recession and all those other things, there are great things happening out there. So yes. So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be touching on solutions. Yeah, solutions. And we're going to talk about the St. Mary JP Outreach and Empowerment Initiatives. Yeah, St. Mary JP Community Outreach and Empowerment Initiative is a mandate from the Honorable Custos of St. Mary, Errol V. Johnson, which seeks to engage the services of the JPs of St. Mary in a collaborative effort with other citizens and entities of the parish in an effort to uplift persons and communities in need of assistance and support. And we're going to talk about solutions tonight. We're going to talk about solutions. So let me just bring in Sir Johnson. Sir Johnson, how are you? Okay, I see you got your assistant there. Okay, I know no audio is coming from you as yet. So while they're creating the audio and make it, I bring in Sir James. Sir James, how are you?
I am very well, thanks. How are you?
Not bad.
And warm greetings to your audience in the UK and the greater diaspora.
Yes, and the matter world. I think Sir Johnson is there. He's got his.
Are you hearing me now?
Yeah, I see your mentor He's sorting it out.
Yes, I hope he has done so.
Is it once? What is it? Once a man, twice a child.
Exactly.
How are you guys? How is everything?
Take care of them.
Yes. How are you guys both?
We're doing very well, thanks, and we're really grateful to you for facilitating this interaction.
Yes, I think interaction is very crucial. And Sir Johnson, I think you're not in the I was going to say you're not in the UK. You're not in Jamaica, are you?
At the moment.
Okay. A friend of mine who sometimes come on the show, and we ask him where he is. Because he doesn't want us to know where he is. He said, I'm on the internet.
Okay.
I'm getting a feedback. I don't know who it is from. Let me see. 1, 2, 3. Sir Johnson, if you speak, Sir Johnson.
Yes, all is well on my side.
Yes, Mr. James. There's a feedback coming from your side. I don't know if you have a headphone.
No, I haven't. Are you still getting it?
Yeah, I'm getting a feedback. Do you have something else on, like a speaker up?
Not that I know of. But let me just move. Is that any better?
It's okay now. I don't know what you did, but it's okay now.
All right. I moved away from the computer, so that may have made a difference.
Yes. Yes. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. And I've got Miss Donique Smith here as well. How are you, Miss Smith?
Hi, Miss Smith.
Miss Smith? Hello? Can she hear?
Good afternoon or good evening, I should say.
Okay, good. Yeah, yes. Fantastic. Well, listen, awesome. Thank you so much. And as you know, it's talk and sip. I don't know if you guys have a drink. What are you drinking? You don't have to drink. You don't have to drink wine. I mean,
no, I have some water.
You got some water. We call it Crystal Punch.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you guys for coming on. Yeah, and one, it's a good topic about solutions, especially youth. And I think I will ask. I don't know who will set the stage by talking about the vision, and then we bring it together between Mr. Johnson and Mr. James.
The most senior among us in rank and everything else. The Custos Rotulorum himself.
Okay, thank you very much, Burchell. Pleasant good afternoon. Well, it's morning now in UK.
No, you know, it's 10:22 p.m. Yeah.
In the night.
Yeah, it's in the night. 10:22. Yes.
All right. So it's good afternoon. Good night.
Good night. Yes.
Well, to start with, my entire career path involved interaction with students, right? So I have a passion for that. And after leaving the school and looking at it from a different site, I realized that many of our students were being talked to and were not being listened to. So we do not listen to them. And in most cases, they just want somebody to listen to what they have to say and to implement programs that will be beneficial to them. We usually sit down in the office and work out all the programs that we believe are good for them. And, simple things that you pass by means a lot to them. I remember the last flooding we had in Port Maria, and I was walking on the street, and one fellow, big man in his 20s, stopped me and said, "Sir, don't go and dirty up your shoes, because you have to clean this when you go home." And he came and he spoke with me. And he reminded me that I was the first and probably the last person who referred to him as Mr. And that really changed his life. And I don't think it was a very endearing mister that I said. You know, when the principal calls to somebody, he said, "Mister, come here." And I said, he was Smith. I said, "Mr. Smith, come here." And he took that as that I am complimenting him. I'm respecting him. So there are many times that we treat our children in the way that we believe is good for them. So our project, as we see it, is in addition to giving academic support in selected primary schools for now, we are hoping that we can have enough mentors to be there to listen to our young ones, especially those who are in the age group somewhere between 9 and 11, the years that are very vulnerable. That's when they sort of make up their mind in which direction they're going. And if we are not careful, they will go in the direction that we don't want. So I find that this, and I've seen results, because as a cadet officer for over 47 years, I have seen where we have changed the lives of so many people. It's we can't talk about how we're going to save the adults now, because some of them are far gone, but we still have to try. But I think a lot of emphasis should be placed on see how best we can help our children. So in a nutshell, that is where we're moving in St. Mary.
Okay, thank you very much for that. And I'll just bring in one of my colleague who is always on the show weekly, who will also maybe ask questions along the way. Lester, how are you, sir?
I'm awesome. Good evening, gentlemen and lady.
Good evening, Sir Lester. Great seeing you and hearing you.
Thank you.
Yes. Mr. James, can you sort of set out like the objectives at the same, break down the vision? You know, you seem like a guy who is the foot guy that deal with some of the technicalities.
Burchell, you have the objectives in front there?
I can.
Let me see if I can pick it up quickly. I should have had those, but the situation that I was in.
But I've done something that may assist you guys, which you'll be very happy with what I'm, if I can actually do it. I thought I had it a while ago. Yes, there it is. Is that helpful?
Yes, I have it now.
Yes.
And I'll summarize our St. Mary JP community outreach. We try to engage. Try to engage the services of the JPs of St. Mary in efforts with other citizens of the parish to uplift persons and communities in need of assistance and support. What is our vision? Building strategic partnership with communities of St. Mary. And our objective, to establish an empowerment mentorship initiative program for at-risk youths and disadvantaged persons within selected communities.
Yes.
To advance the technological capacity of beneficiaries of the COEI, to organize community sensitization and information sharing sessions for selected communities or community members. Objective 4 deals with social and education impact, to identify and assist selected individuals, families, or communities who are in need of social and educational support. Basically, those are the 4 objectives that we have identified. It's not cast in stone. And as we do our evaluation on a continuous basis, then we'll modify as is necessary if it so desires.
Yeah. Donique, Smith, what's the role that you play with this
All right.
project?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. I am the public relations officer for the fundraising event, the formal launch for the organization. And so for me, my duty here is to promote this event so that persons will participate and buy into our giving back as justices of the peace. Because the thing about it is that oftentimes persons see us as just individuals who sign documents and who notarize things for persons, but the individuals assist with the less fortunate and those persons who are in need. So at this point, we are looking at our children, and so I am promoting this event with my team, a number of us, who is ensure that persons come on board to help us to help, especially in a time when our students need the technological assistance and motivation in such a time like this.
You mentioned an event which is November the 30th, yes?
Yes, this event is the 30th of November. Yes, it's on a Wednesday evening at 4:30 p.m. right at the Casa Maria or St. Mary.
With Miss Gordon Harrison, Dean Gordon Harrison, the children advocate. I want to just ask some questions in regards to the youth. You know, during the course of the COVID period, lots of children were at home, and we're seeing lots of interaction, negative interaction with children of recent days. Meadowbrook was one which came up, I think, in the news. And is it something whereby you're looking to spread through the country in a way, in the sense of dispute resolution and things of that nature? Because the worst thing sometimes is to have great projects and great names, and then it goes by the wayside. Is it like a partnership? Is St. Mary's like setting the stage, pioneering something, Mr. Johnson or Ms. Smith?
Dispute resolution and mediation is a project of the Ministry of Justice. Let me get a drink of alcohol here.
You drink alcohol. Lester, what are you drinking, Lester?
So it's not something it's not something that it's not really our brainchild, but how we are going to implement it is our own style.
Yes.
And bear in mind that one shirt can't fit everybody. So what we do in St. Mary, we make it available, but it's not necessary that it can work in Hanover. But there is a strong program in terms of child diversion, mediation, and dispute resolution. In fact, the ministry at the moment is trying to train the teachers in the schools in dispute resolution and mediation. And this is something that we are paying particular attention to in St. Mary. But we are willing to share.
Yeah. Let's say what's your question you want to ask?
First of all, the guest speaker for the night for the event, Diane Gordon, is a good friend of mine. So Donique, tell her hi for me, okay?
Certainly we will.
Yeah. What we're seeing in the schools and in the wider society is not new. You know, I was born in 78, and coming up in the 80s, we have had all the problems that we're having now, we have had them. You know, what we're seeing now is the advent of technology and multimedia is bringing to light the problems that have always been there. Now, I mean, the population has grown. We hit the 2 million mark since 1975. So the population has grown dramatically. And also the access to certain things has been more easily available as time goes on. So, cell phones, tablets and stuff like that, and even weapons, and even the mindset now has changed a whole lot. Where, I mean, in the 80s, we used to have fist fights, and nobody died. Now, if you, as the young people say, you pre a man, yeah, pre me, and it end up into death, the gathering situation. Certain things were for adults, So as a child, you would hear about gathering, you would hear about certain things, but you wouldn't want to partake in it because that is not for you. The breakdown in society has happened where adults are making these things accessible to children, just like the music. The music have always been violent, always been lewd, but we used to have to go to a particular dance hall area to access these type of lewd lyrics. It is being made widely available and accessible by adults to the wider society, especially children. Taximen driving, playing the lewd song, busmen driving, your neighbor beside you play the most lewd lyrics. Many times I call my mom in Jamaica and I'm talking to her, and the next door neighbor turn them speaker right to her window and playing the most lewd lyrics. So and my niece is there. She's 10. She's hearing all these things. So sometimes we as adults tend to look at, say, how can we help the children, right? One of your guests said that the adults are can't be really saved now, but the adults have to take an active role in how the change is administered, because we can't make the children administer the change. We as the adults have to address other adults and saying, hey, we have to do better.
I want to pick up on that point that Blocking God said a while ago, and I bring it to Burchell, James. In your objective number 4, to identify and assist selected individuals, families, or communities who are in need of social and educational support. That is what Lester sort of lead into. I'm going to go through the different objectives, and any one of you can pick up on that. In number 4, how is the strategy to work on that? Number 4, identify and assist selected individual. Yes.
As a group, the JPs are present in all communities, and so we are able to get a feel of what's happening in individual communities. There are several communities where the needs are great. We really have to prioritize which one do you have the resources to implement it in. And the resources are not just financial. We also have to look at human resources. And where will the intervention have the greatest impact in the short run? In the long run, we know we want to get all the communities, but it's a tough call, really. Even choosing the current mentees was a difficult process, because there are at least 4 times the number we have chosen that are in need, that we have identified. So it's not just within the parish; it's island wide. But we start with the parish.
Yeah, Miss Donika.
Yeah, and so as I said
Donique,
earlier,
my apologies, Donique. Get your names correct. Donika, yeah.
What my colleague said earlier, mentees, us as justices of the peace, are given a mentee, and so we are mentored to those children, and we start from a particular age group so that we can be there from the foundation, which is in the primary institutions, and monitor them and mentor them, encouraging them, motivating them so that they can be better individuals in the future. And not just that, we allow them to become models for other students. So when you pair your classroom start to behave a particular or communicate a particular way or give advice in a particular way, responding to conflicts in a particular way, then we will realize that it will fluster within the classroom and move from one stage to the next. So it's not, we are going to meet everybody, as my colleague said earlier, and also as the Custos said, because we those who are in St. Anne, and maybe we can't reach those who are in Kingston, but we are starting from here. And when we start here, then we will realize that it will diffuse, go out into the wider space.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to come on to, well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all for joining us on Instagram, Bob J. Matthews, Realist Doll. To see the full show properly, you can go on to YouTube and Facebook, Silburn TV, and you can see the wonderful guests all the way from Jamaica, Mr. Burchell, James, Donique Smith, Johnson. Mr. Johnson, you're all JPs, isn't it? Justice of the Peace.
Yes, we are. Yes.
And Lester, you're in the same rank as well. Lester from Netherlands. He's in Netherlands, you know.
Okay.
Lester, just say yes.
No. My brother, this last week or week before last week, he was just made a JP in the last batch recently.
Okay.
For which parish?
He lives in Stone Hills. I think it's St. Andrew.
St. Andrew.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. I want to pick up on that point about the mentorship and the mentee, what Donique mentioned a while ago. One of your objective one is to establish an empowerment and mentorship initiative or program for our at-risk youth and disadvantaged person within selected communities. Let's talk about the mentorship bit, because mentorship, you mentioned mentees. How can Lester mentor someone in Jamaica or myself? Because you're reaching out to the diaspora. Why reaching out to the diaspora for something in St. Mary?
That is possible, because with I am in Canada, I'm talking to you now, and Burchell is in Jamaica. So it's possible that we can do that. We can create a mentorship program that involves people from all over the world. But what we have to remember is that if we're able to change the lives of 10 youngsters, there's a domino effect there. Because every one of these youngsters, they're in a gang. Huh? And I use the term gang in a positive way.
Yes.
Right? They either play cricket together, they play football together, they are cadets together, or anything like that, right?
Yes, sir.
So they, by association, will be able to diffuse the others and help them to follow the path. So they become mentors also when we are finished with them. So they will be peer counselors. So it's a program that you cannot really quantify, but it's a quality that you are looking for out there. So wherever you are in the world, you know, somebody will be glad to, a youngster will be glad to be talking to somebody from the Netherlands every 2 weeks or so and find out what is there, how the children behave, and that sort of thing. So COVID, although it cost COVID so much, he has done a good job for us, that he has opened up the multimedia avenues, so we can talk to everybody and help each other in the best way possible.
And cheaper too. Because usually you'd have to get on a plane.
Yeah.
Right. But if I might just add to what the Custos has said, the duty of a mentor is not onerous. In fact, really what we ask is that you be in touch with your mentee, you build that communication link. It comes down to relationship.
Yes.
And so the mentor and the mentee builds that relationship, and so you're able to guide. As Custos had said earlier, and sometimes children just need to talk. They need somebody who hear them. And based on what they are saying, you are able to provide guidance. It is not a requirement that you have to provide financial support. If you so desire, that's up to you as an individual. But under the program, what we ask is that you are there to guide your mentee. And so the minimum requirement is that you are in touch with them 2-3 times for the month. The level of interaction is totally dependent on the individuals. But I can tell you this, that once you have built that relationship, the minimum requirement goes through the window because they become like your own children.
Yeah.
When you see the difference you make to their perception of life and their perception of people, right? You become so engrossed in the process that you want to do far more than is asked of you. And so some persons shy away because they say, I can't afford it financially. You really don't need. And as was just said, technology allows you to do that. And this is why we're trying, as part of our program, to at least give them a device by which they can communicate, both for lessons and for social interaction.
Thank you. I wanted. Sorry, please, Donick.
I just want to add,
Sorry, Mr.
Burchell,
James.
that we are very selective, or we are very cautious.
Yes.
Those we select, or we to be mentors.
Yes,
and
that's a good point. Yes.
On the platform here, will understand that. Right. So
yes.
we have to be careful.
And before I go into Donick, Winsome Davis James, I'm presuming she's in Jamaica. Good afternoon. Where do I sign up to be a Justice of the Peace and also a mentee for youths in my community?
Where in Jamaica she is.
Okay, Winsome, if you answer that one there. So there are two sprung to that. Justice of the Peace is one. Maybe you can elaborate how can someone become a Justice of the Peace. But the other bit, also a mentee for youth in my community. I think you can maybe speak into for your project for St. Mary, because you highlighted a key point, which is it is going to be selected. Is it going to be selected whereby if I want to be a mentor and Lester want to be a mentor, we're on this list that you have, and then you have all these children, all these young people that you need to start to allocate. Is it boys to boys, women to women, women to men, how I don't know if you can break that down a bit there.
No, yeah. I think you didn't get. We will, before you go on the list.
Yes.
We have to do a due diligence check.
Yeah, check Lester. You need to check Lester seriously.
Yeah, we need to check Lester. We need to ask some questions about Lester. With my JPs, I don't have a problem because I've already done that already. So I know where they stand.
Yeah.
But let me tell you something. I've been working with youths for a long time, and I've gotten some requests to give support. And after doing my due diligence, I have to tell them, look, I'm glad for your support, but let me call you when I need you. You don't call me.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Miss, the lady said she's from Port Murray. So what I've done, I'm putting your contact details there.
No, she can just go to the Custos office.
Yes.
Or she can go on the internet and fill out the application for JP.
Yeah, I've also got the details that Wesley Boynes gave, so you can reach out to you guys as well. Go ahead, Mr. James.
Right, I was just saying that to apply to become a Justice of the Peace, you can do that online, but the document, when completed, has to be hand delivered and to be delivered in person to the Custos' office, and that is in Port Murray. And I notice she's in Port Murray.
In Port Murray, yes.
Right. In terms of being a mentor, again, that contact can be made through the Custos' office, because the company, the Community Empowerment Outreach Initiative is really done through the Custos' office. What we have done is simply incorporated a non-profit organization to do several things. One, to ensure continuity, and two, to facilitate contribution from companies who may want to get a tax break for their contribution, and also to ensure that there is transparency and accountability under the program. So we have a non-profit limited liability company that through which the program is implemented.
Yeah.
So we really set the foundation for continue to be under our generation.
Yeah. And the other bit now, because you need persons on hand to do the mentorship program and to work with young people. But how do you sustain it?
The challenge
That's the
there is
volunteer.
fine. I'm sorry, I defer to my senior.
Yeah, that's for them to become whatever they do as a mentor. That's volunteer. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just that we have to encourage them and try to highlight the benefits of such program.
Yes.
Look, if there are 10 points and only 3 of them are positive, we'll highlight the 3 and forget about the 7 negatives. Just point out how the corrections will be made, because too often we bash and we don't see the one good thing that is being done. But we believe that, you only see them once per week and you should have been seeing them more often. You're not serving the purpose, these things. So it's a matter of encouraging our mentors. And I don't think that then most of them that I've heard from, I don't think they need much encouragement.
Yes.
Because what they have seen and what has happened to them and to their mentees,
yes,
has put them on cloud 9. Right? So and it's not limited to JPs alone, but community members who are willing to help will do so. And it's not by accident we choose Mrs. Harrison to be our guest speaker. Because remember, our focus is on children.
Children, yes.
So that's why we have asked her to be with us.
Lester.
And so, can I say something right
Yes,
here?
yes, Miss Smith.
That's what I've said earlier. It is to motivate. Our main determination is to motivate our mentors. And so having this formal launch for the St. Mary Parish Justices of the Peace, we recognize that we're going to be awarding some Justices of the Peace who have been tremendously great during COVID, before COVID, volunteering, and they have been encouraging and motivating persons. And so oftentimes some persons, they don't need any awards, yes, but us as Justices of the Peace look at it and yes, they have worked themselves out and they need to be encouraged in spite of. So that's one of the main reasons too we're going forward with this award. Just doing this formal launch and making it known out there that it's you as Justices of the Peace. You are mentoring our children. Your duty, you are there for our people. We thank you and we appreciate you so much.
Yeah. And what can us in the diaspora do? Okay, you're on this program now, and I know Sir Burchell James from a while ago and Wesley Boynes. Wesley Boynes is the man who married me off and sent me back to England with my wife. Used to go to his church. What can the diaspora do? How can the diaspora be a partnership with yourselves? What is the best ways? Or what,
all right.
Burchell will go ahead with that.
Yeah, if I may, I alluded to the fact that we wanted to ensure continuity and also inclusivity, so that persons in the diaspora can contribute. So, for example, the program will be launched and it will be streamed. Yes. But not only will it be streamed, it's going to take it's going to be a fundraising event. And so persons can participate by buying tickets, and you could buy tickets for the mentees or for some of the teachers who are participating in us. So although you're not physically here, you could actually sponsor somebody's participation. You will also be able to make donations on an ongoing basis wherever in the world you are. The launch will be on Spur Open, which is a platform that facilitates international
donation.
participation in any event we have. So you can go on and you can either buy a ticket or you can make a contribution. It provides for both. There's also the ongoing program where you can send through either directly to us and we share our banking details, or you can still do it through the Spur Open, because that will be open on an ongoing basis. So even if it's a £10 or it's a £1, you put in what you can. There will also be an opportunity for individuals or corporate entities to make a pledge.
Yes.
You could say, well, I will support 10 children and I will give X every month or every year or however it is convenient to do so.
Mm-hmm.
And you can lend off your resources.
Yes.
You have a network, so it's not just what you can contribute. You can promote the program through your network and get other persons to contribute. As I said, the platform we're using make it easy for you to pay with your debit card, your credit card, any electronic means.
Yeah.
And it comes directly to us. And it comes in a way that allows us to account for it. And you will, as a part of the stakeholders group, you will get your annual report and regular update. So it's one that is easy for you to participate in. You may have resources that you can send to us that we can pass on to the mentees. You may have training that you can do, and you can do it remotely. We welcome any form of contribution.
Okay, so therefore what I'm seeing is you're stepping into different areas and different styles, and I guess as time goes by you'll be developing it, the whole process.
Yeah, it will expand to become more comprehensive. We're starting with what we know is urgent.
Yeah.
And that need, we know we can't address that need in the first year or two. It's far greater than our capacity to.
Yeah.
But the more we get, the more support we get, is the more we'll be able to do, and the faster we'll be able to roll it out.
Yeah. Let's. I don't know if you want to say something before I go back and bring up another point. Yeah, I wanted to ask you, what is the state of like the young people? Let's use Port Maria. We're talking about St. Mary. What is it like of these young people in that area? How is it like? What's the sort of the fabric? Yeah.
Let me not pick on any particular community, but make a general statement. Great concern, because I was at a parent-teachers meeting just 2 days ago. And what we have found is that there is widespread need. We have those children who are special need children.
Yes.
But there is an urgent need to address the whole matter of the ability to read and to write, because unless you have that literacy, they can't learn the other skills. We have, for example, students in the age group that we're dealing with, grades 6 and 7, who basically are at grade 1 or kindergarten level in terms of their ability to read. And if they are not able to read, they can't comprehend what they are taught in the other areas. So there's this urgent need for remedial work. So there's remedial work, and because they get frustrated, then the antisocial behavior become more pronounced.
Yeah.
So we have to approach it in a comprehensive way. I don't think we have the answer yet. We have to do quite a bit of more research and data, but those are evident areas, and it's particularly so among the boys. The boys have on average a lower level of literacy than the girls.
And many people are saying that a lot of it's contributed from that 2 years during the COVID period where people were locked in. I know a niece of mine is in I think she teaches one of the school in Port Maria or St. Mary or whatever like that, and she said, uncle, sometimes I'm there, I'm like 2 or 3 out of a class of 25, 30.
Yeah.
Sorry, Burchell.
No, man, go right ahead.
For me, Silburn, you know my affiliations and connections and stuff like that. And I'm in many groups and I have many ears in many avenues. And it is during the COVID period, I got so many screenshots, so many text messages, so many concerns, so many frustrated educators that the children who needed the attention online or needed this type of focus, is that the parents weren't even making an effort to make sure that their children are at the tablet or at the phone, or so it's although the children have a problem, we go back to the environment on a whole, and the lockdown for the last 2 years have like catapulted the situation. So these children who maybe needed extra remedial classes and courses and stuff like in like maybe a free for all mode, that they are even pushed way back now. And what we're seeing now is that we have forced them back into general population in schools, and that, as you said, that not being able to read and write, reason, communicate effectively. We are seeing an increase in violence amongst these children. But what we're also seeing is a lot of adult type relationships and behavior and dialogue between the children in the presence of adults, in the presence of school. And it is very frightening and alarming because it's happening more frequently now. And we have seen where young girls, I hear you speak about young boys, but we are seeing where young girls are more and more caught up in a life of criminal activity. And it's very, very concerning. So this program is a perfect program for to help to bring to light and to bring young people in a streamline to get assistance.
On Wednesday, I was in a meeting with a group from the Ministry of Education online, and there was a presentation from a professor of the University of the West Indies that looked at all the factors that affect socialization and learning. And, I was taken aback. So, there are so many factors. COVID is just one of them.
Yeah.
There are so many factors that are there. When you look at the graphs, the statistics, you can see how. Sorry, it's
That's
so
okay.
lopsided,
Yes.
And if I might just add, it's not just the students,
No.
the teachers. The teachers are under tremendous pressure. And so our program, while directed at the students, we can't ignore the impact it's having on the teachers.
Donnie, you're going to say, sorry. No, after you finish, Burchell, then Donnie, sorry.
Yeah,
Finish.
and one of the things that came out in this parent teachers is that a lot of our parents are children themselves. And so the children were forced to be home for 2 years and saw the adults behave in a particular way, and they are now mimicking that. And so we have a double problem, because whereas the school was a place that helped to fill the gap that was at home, they are now bringing the bad behavior, the antisocial behavior into the classroom because they were allowed to get away with it at home.
Yeah.
And I saw parents who were saying to the teachers, look, you need to stop this online teaching because I can't manage them at home. So what they are doing is looking to the teachers to rescue them as parents. So come back to parenting. We can't ignore parenting.
Yeah. So Johnson was putting up his phone a while ago.
I just want to say that this is one of the most effective instrument that we have had in a long time, but it's one of the most dangerous, if there's a stronger adjective, because the things that I see that pops up on it, right? I'm not a media person. I'm going to read messages from Burchell and them. And the things that you see jumping out at you, and these are what the children are seeing.
Yes.
And remember, the parents buy the top of the line cell phones and iPads and nosepads and all the pads that you can think of.
Those bad.
And if you ask the parents to buy a cricket pad for his son who wants to play cricket, she would tell her she don't have the money or he doesn't have the money. So then he will give him a cell phone. So when he comes home, he go inside his room and lock up and play with the cell phone. He has no time or he does not have the equipment to practice at school or in the community.
Let's bring in Donnie. Miss Smith, you want to say something?
Yes, I want to agree with my elders, my seniors, because they have been, instrumental in helping me as a justices of the peace in this space. And so I want to put in here, as an educator, would have recognized that parenting is a major factor in all that is happening in our arena, and our community, and our culture at this point. So as Mr. Burchell would have said, most of them are younger parents. And so us as justices of the peace who are being mentors, we're not just being mentors to just children at the point, though we may be focusing on just children, but because we are modeling parenting, sometimes when we call and say, all right, may I speak to my mentee, they would say, okay, he's on the outside playing, and you might say to them, all right, so he should be in his class now, or he should be doing this at this point. Why is he not doing his reading or something of that nature? Just to get them on board and to work with them. And they will say to you as a mentor, oh, I didn't even see the time, or something like that. So we as justices of the peace who are mentors to these children help in the parenting aspect because they need us. And not just that, my colleague said earlier that the educational or the grade level of our students would have deteriorated in so many ways. So instead of them reading at their actual grade level, they are not reading there. They are reading 2 grades below, sometimes 3 grades below, and frightened to know, even in the high school, you have children who are reading like pre-primer or primer. That's at the basic school level. So with that, as teachers within the space, the educational space, we need the diaspora to come in and to just assist us in helping them to focus or to refocus, in other words. Not that the cell phone, my Custos raised his cell phone, which would have brought them down to a line because technology is at the fingertip now. So the first thing that comes to mind, I am not in a class, so I am going to TikTok, I am going to Free Fire, I am going to do the other things. But when our, diaspora come in and help us to refocus our children back to where they are supposed to be, I believe that will help us in so many ways. Get a better society and a better communication background, socialization kind of thing going on there. So I don't know, but we are crying out for that kind of refocus. Is needed.
So what I'm picking up, we're talking about is need all hands on deck. All hands on deck to support. One thing I want to pick up, because I got a couple of persons online, social workers. I think you guys need to target social workers overseas, especially in the UK. A lot of Jamaican, I'm a children and family lawyer. They're my clients, and a lot of Jamaicans, social workers are here in the UK, and they're willing to want to contribute. And I think there's a way somehow there should be some sort of structure where you can bring in these persons to also, I don't know, some strategic way. I'm just dropping that one out there, unless you guys.
Glad you brought up social worker, because in Jamaica there's a lack of adequate infrastructure and funding for social. There are social workers there, but there's not enough of them, and there's not enough support for social workers in Jamaica. And I don't think that the government of Jamaica, and when I say the government, I don't mean the JLP, I mean the government, our successive governments since 1962 have not taken a keen interest in making sure that social workers or social work is well funded and also is important. And this is where a lot of breakdown happen also, right? Because we need social workers to intervene in a lot of situations that is happening in the communities and the society. I want to go back to a point that I heard Donnie mention, and I think Mr. Johnson. You see, or maybe it was Burchell. I not remember. Young people have always been having children in Jamaica. Always. It's not a new thing. The birth rate have even slowed down since 2011, between 2011 and 2019, I think, by 35% or 40%. I don't remember. Right? People are having less children now. The difference is that the community, when persons like the Custos and yourself, Silburn and Burchell were younger, we had a community around the family. So there was the grandmother there, or the great grandmother, or the grandfather, or the uncles and aunts. So even though the child is young, that have a young, when I say young, it may be between 16 to 21, right? There was a community around the village, around the child. That is not anymore. The village becomes, as the Costa said, this is the village, and that is where the problem is. They're consuming education now in 30-second bits. Like for me, my father was born 1935. The wealth of information and knowledge that he passed on to me, right? This could not give it to me, even today, right? When you have an uncle come around and say, like to Jody, hi Jody, and say to one of Jody boys, how your reading going? Read this for me. Instantly, your uncle or your aunt will challenge you to read. And you have to be, as a 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 7-year-old, you have to be able to read. And then if he's stuttering or not reading properly, the uncle will say, Jody boy, you're with the boy, man. We don't have that anymore. There's no village around the child or children anymore.
Yeah. I want to first welcome Jody. Jody, hi, how are you?
Good evening, everyone. I hope you're hearing me clearly.
Yeah. Before Jody says anything, Mr. Johnson, Miss Smith, and Mr. James, we have been doing this show, and we were very extensive during the COVID period. And Jody was one of those persons who always talk about the children and the young people. I'm mindful that we are beyond the time that we said I was going to keep you guys, but it's up to you if you want to stay on a bit more. But it's a topic which has been something which we have been talking about a lot. So do let me know, like a teacher, our student, if you want to go, just put your hands up, and we can release Mr. Johnson or Donique. But Jody, please go ahead and share your thoughts. Yeah.
All right. Good evening, panelists. I've been listening in and out because I was in a training. But I have one question that I want to ask you, even as you think of your approach to helping our young people. Do you think that, and I wrote it down so I said the right things, because I oftentimes have to be careful how I word what I have to say. Do you think that we are taking the right approach now to education and discipline in Jamaica?
I will
can take that.
invoke the Fifth Amendment.
Well, we in cricketing parlance, it's a googly, you just bowled. but a good batsman with the right eyes and who is light on his feet and suppose can bat that ball. I don't know if I am that one, but I would like to take a swipe at it. I think really the methodology does not encourage the participation of all our students. I think very recently there was an article about a school in the UK where a Jamaican teacher went. It was a school that was having really bad grades, and she turned it around. And it was a matter of using creative ways of reaching our students. I think she used the arts in order to get to them. the chalk and talk doesn't work. And you see, with children who have access to technology, they are way ahead of the teachers and have resources sometimes far more advanced than that which the teacher has. We have very inquiring minds, and we have to find a way of engaging them. Students will learn when learning becomes interesting and they can relate to it. We are not, I think, providing that even at the basic school level. And so if the foundation is not properly built, it doesn't matter what superstructure you want to put on it, the foundation can't support it. And so there needs a total overhaul of the educational system, the allocation of resources, methodology. That's I see it. I'm outside of the classroom. I may have been involved in early childhood education in terms of facilitating the program, but not as a teacher. And I really believe that we need to re-examine the methodology and scope.
Silver, before you go,
No. Miss Smith, you want, as a teacher and a great coordinator, you want to come in here, if anything, or let's start. Can I bring the teacher first? Yeah,
sure. Ladies first.
All right. As Mr. Burchell said earlier, kind of question it takes a real good batsman to bat it.
Or batswoman.
Cricket or a black batswoman, right? But being in the system at this time, it is what it is, and so we have to be creative in what we do and how we go about it. One of the things is, I saw you nodding your head, Mr. Bogle. One of the things is that we as teachers have the great task of disciplining our children and educating them at the same time. And in doing so, we will find that it becomes quite challenging. And so with that said, resources that we have to use for both teaching and learning, and also the resources that we have in disciplining our children, it is a hard one, and it's a hard way of using the tools that we have. Because one of the things is that some teachers are afraid of being parents. And you know that teaching and parenting comes hand in hand. I know that you understand that teaching and parenting comes hand in hand. And you have to have the passion and the drive for what you do in order to get it to the place where you need to get it. And so I don't want to go deep down in some things that is happening presently in the system in Jamaica, but just to say, as teachers in the States, we have to be careful with what we have because of where we are being placed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I make no qualms about my political leanings, right? But I'm gonna say that Jody, what you've said, Dominic, is very diplomatical. You understand me? We appreciate it. But the truth is, this Andrew Holness-led administration has failed in the education department. I can say that publicly. You understand me? Jody has said it for 2 years straight. We can't have children on a device, right? And they take them off a device and fling them back to chalk and board. So it's like you're going back ways, right? Not only that, though, in the Ministry of Education, there's so many wastage. There's so many things that's not going correct. There's monies that can be pumped into other areas to help teachers, help trainee teachers also. I know for a fact that even as a teacher going to Mike or going to this teachers college, it is very expensive to find teachers and stuff like that. right? And these people cannot work because they have to be at school full time, right? We have to start looking at the age that we're in. We're in a technological age. We have to start pushing an advancement. The curriculum has to change to be in sync with technology now, right? We can't be carrying on business as usual and teaching children from a tender age, right, in an old archaic way. And that's why we are failing. This is the reason why we are failing. That's why you have children in Singapore and Japan and China and these countries that are way advanced, it's especially technological wise. We have to make a change. I say, listen, from an early age, we have to make advancement in the education system, technological wise, and also what the curriculum pushes.
Yeah. Before I release my guest, and somebody, I just want to bring in what Winsome Davis James says. I'd like to bring in comments from persons. As an early childhood educator, the formative years are very critical in a child's life. We need to give also positive ways how to discipline these students to get positive results. What I can pick up from today and from this discussion is that it's all hands on deck in trying to create this positive, creative way. The chalk and talking. Maybe this is part of the creative way that you guys are spearheading, Mr. Johnson and James and Miss Smith. This is what is happening. And another thing I'd add in, I mentioned the teachers, not the teachers, the social workers. Well, you saw my daughter earlier when she was trying to do something when we were all practicing, when we were doing some local checking out earlier. Maybe also sometimes children may need to also read with children in Jamaica, children from overseas also reading with children in Jamaica. I don't know. That is something I just throw that one out as well, you know. But I want to let you guys go. Any last word that you want to say or pick up from what Lester said before?
Allow the ladies to go first.
Donique.
All right.
You'll always go
Thank you,
first,
Mr.
Donique.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think my main task here this evening or tonight is to make sure that everyone out there in the diaspora get the message that of the Peace in St. Mary is having a formal launch. And this will be on November 30th, 2022. And it's going to be at 4:30 p.m. sharp. Not to mention, we have a dynamic speaker who will be speaking on the behalf of our children. She's a children advocate, and she'll be helping us and guiding us through the process. It's going to be at Casa Maria Hotel here in St. Mary. Wonderful place to be. And so the Community Outreach and Empowerment Initiative is here to build our community. It is here to empower our young people, and it is here to motivate our justice of the peace and those who are in the diaspora to continue to be great individuals to our society out there. God bless you.
I was just putting up a picture a while ago of St. Mary, but it's all curious, isn't it? I'm very biased. You know? Everybody's going. Mr. Johnson, you should have sent me a Port Maria picture so I can put up there.
All right, I'll do. Just to say that this program is not, the program started over a year ago, you know. So it's not that we're launching, but we are already in the choppy seas already, and we have been getting good results. So we look forward to continued support from the diaspora in whatever way they can, because you come down to Jamaica very often. So you can tell us, and if you are in St. Mary, you can tell us, and we can arrange for you to talk with either parents or children. You know, that would be easy for us to do.
I tell you, I'm from York Castle High School, and every time I go to York, go down to go to York Castle. Raymond Treasure was my classmate, my batch. He's the principal there. I always go there and I always have a chat with them, and always tell them that me and Raymond used to break dance, and they never believe me. And then I do a break dance move for them, and them say, wow, wow, wow. And then I get them eating out of my hands. Days when me and Raymond used to break dance. I think that's important as well. Mr. James.
Thank you very much. I just like to add to Danique and what the Custos has said. We started the program we recognize that we need great support. We thank you for providing this opportunity for us to speak of it and thereby garner some support. But I just want to do two things. One, to remind you and your listeners that support can be given electronically at any time. And also that we are open to anyone who is willing to assist, because we speak about the educational approach. It will require research, remodification or modification. It will require training. And we know there are persons, as you pointed out in the diaspora, who may be willing. We can work together in terms of training. Donique mentioned the whole matter of parenting. That's something that is critical. And the whole matter of our teachers. They are the ones that have been entrusted with the responsibility of trying to correct a problem, not of their own creation. And so we also have to look at a program that will address their own needs. And so while the launch is focusing on the children, our initial program is focusing on the children, we're very mindful that it's a complex issue.
Yes.
Requires a number of initiatives coming through different avenues. And so we just implore others in the diaspora to lend your hand. You, Selborn, said it's all hand on deck. Well, we need the hands on deck, not just to hold the deck, but to work hard on the deck.
Yes.
So we thank you, and on behalf of the JPs in St. Mary and the Custos who heads us all, just to thank you for allowing us the opportunity to speak of our initiative.
Yes.
And to hopefully at another date be able to provide you with an update.
Most definitely. And ladies and gentlemen, I've put the email address, which is stmaryjp.coei, and I stop it from scrolling across, so it's static, at gmail.com. And the telephone number there, this was provided by Wesley Boynes, 876-891-1221. Because what I don't have, and this is where if people want to reach out, they need to reach out to you, is the ways how people can actually financially help. As time goes by, because and Leicester, we very keenly linked with Jamaica. Make sure we get those information so we can still share it. So it's not going to be the end of it now. And I'm going to see somehow how from this show maybe we can create a way how we can even do a contribution. And definitely action speaks louder than words. It will be my pleasure at some point to be able to be reaching out to some young people down there and to give them a call once in a while, especially if they involved in media and want to be involved in media, just to have a chat with them. I'm sure would love to do that. So we are putting ourselves forward.
I wish I could be there in Jamaica, because Diane Gordon Harrison, she helped me personally with my son when my son was misbehaving. So she personally put hands on my son and helped him in a good way, And so she and I developed a very close relationship over the years, and so I've spoken to her in a while. But she's an awesome person, great speaker that you have, and I wish you guys the program all the best. Whatever Silver and I can do, and the rest of the Talk and Sip team, we are very, very, very much on board to assist.
Closing, Spur Open, SPURROPEN is a platform on which you go. You will see our flyers, you will see the details, and you can make your contribution through that platform.
Okay,
again, thank you.
Yeah, we'll get more of that later, and ping me through those information, and that way, Mr. Johnson, sir.
Thank you.
Thank
you very much for having us, and we look forward to a continued working relationship with you all, and it can only get better.
Yes,
because our children are the future.
And we'll see you in Jamaica. Hang on, there's an Eleanor here. I didn't see. Eleanor? I see Eleanor here. Is that a part of your team? Hello, I see Eleanor.
No.
Yes. She's an education officer.
Okay. We'll talk with her after you guys.
Okay.
All right, well, Miss Smith, thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Yes.
Sir
Thank
James,
you very much.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. Thank you for hosting us.
I think, Sir James, I think the
Burchell,
last
see you
time
soon.
I think I saw you last time, Sir James, at some guest house in the hills in Ocherest. I think I remember last time. Years ago, man. Years ago that.
Yeah, man. That was many moons ago, pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID. All right. Have a good evening, sir.
You
Take care.
too, Lester. Really great linking with you.
Blessings.
Okay.
Take care. Good.
Good. Okay. Let's stop. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining at that first bit there. Remember, you can contact the St. Mary JP COEI at the telephone number 876-891-1221 and the email which is there as well. I think that was a good discussion there, Lester. It shows at least there's people are looking at solutions instead of just holding their head in dismay when the children are fighting. I think the last video we saw was the medical. That was like a gang warfare version. It's on big stick.
Yeah, there's actually 2 videos of it. There's another one in the classroom.
Hey, well, Jody, what are you drinking, man? Come on, you got to drink something now. A bashment time now. Jody, I don't think she can hear. Not hearing you. Okay, like everybody in green tonight. Don't know what's going on. Not all green pierces.
It's a shower night.
You know, the second, Jody, we'll keep talking until you come in. Eleanor, the lady there, I saw it at the end. I didn't realize because so many guests were there. I didn't see her a bit. Who is she, Eleanor?
Yeah, she's the education officer in the Western Jamaica, and
okay,
she liaisons on with the schools, all the schools in that end, and she sees it from both, and from the teacher side and from the I was telling her that was to come on today.
Okay, but okay, I'm not seeing her now. Well, what's your feedback, Jody? Are we hearing you, Jody? No sound.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, what's your feedback, Jody? What's you drinking? What are you drinking? You haven't drank anything for a long time.
Oh, I'm just drinking some Pepsi, some soda. That's it.
Yes.
No JB?
No JB.
Yeah. What's your take on the discussion, Jody, briefly?
It's fun that you said that, No JB.
I know. I saw the play on words. I know.
I guess I'm lost.
Her name, JB.
JB's been missing for a while.
Yes.
He's coming back and sitting there.
All hands on deck. All hands on deck.
Yeah, I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Yes.
Stillborn, I'll go back to some of the said, but I have been looking at with Lester, but to some extent you are right. But what's happening is the of community, as we said before, and not the current children's faults. And I'm not even going to take that back in any way, shape, or form. It's their parents, it's the society we created for them, generation that is living now of children created this lifestyle, this nest where they're not you mentality think or what you say
Jody,
about me, go ahead.
I just want, yeah, I just wanted to know, Jody, that we're having some your words keep cutting out.
Delays.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. Like we're missing a couple words while you were talking there a bit. Well, we're working with it still at the same time, you know.
All right. I think.
You got to, okay.
Is it any better now?
Yes, yes. Until you start to speak,
All
we
right.
know.
All right, let me know. All right, so I
Yeah.
think what's happening, although with my connection, is that there's a horrible weather outside, so there's lightning and stuff. So I find that the connection keeps going. We have horrible rain here now.
It's good.
I mean, it's not light rain, it's like serious, like thunder rolling, and we hear the window shaking, kind of thing. So it's heavy rain.
Yeah.
So what I was saying is that I think a lot of the issues that we're facing now are as a result of my generation and the generation before who has created these children, and our way of discipline and our way of dealing with conflicts and our way of problem solving that we've passed on to our children are some of the reasons why we're seeing what we're seeing in schools. And we're to be blamed. And I'm not gonna sugarcoat it in any way, shape, or form. You know, it was a very rebellious time. You know, we did things differently, and so we grew our children that way. Children live what they learn. They're blank slates when they come into this world, and when whatever they see is what they learn, and whether we are showing them or not, indirectly it's been fed. And
Yeah.
you know, whether we want to accept it or not, it is a fact. You know, you can't, you as I think it was, I was trying to remember if we at Leicester, this sound like one of your examples. Like if you grow a wolf is not a wolf, a lion among dogs will behave like a dog, right? Because of the environment that he's in. And I think we are to be blamed for what we're seeing, because we have allowed our children to see us behave, deal with conflicts a certain way, deal with you know, society a certain way. It's like if you do me pitney nothing, mega beat you up. I mean, that there was a time in our Jamaican culture that if my parents, let's put it as simple as this, if my parents to the school and said anything to any, I mean, mind sharp, you. I mean, you understand what I mean? And then this whole thing of because we have not resolved our conflicts properly, our children have adopted that, you know, and it's a matter of us taking responsibility now and say, hey, this is we need to fix this from our standpoint, not just blame the children for being you know, getting involved in things that whatever they have been exposed to it. Who exposed them to it? Our generation did, and the generation that comes after are going to be worse because they would have not the proper teaching if we don't learn to fix it and fix ourselves as adults first. Say that, hey, guess what? We started this, we need to fix it. Because we can't blame the children wholeheartedly because
No. That's a valid point, Jody, and a valid point, Lester, as well. That children are we produce children, and they grow based on what they see, based on the environment. And I was thinking the other day when I saw Takeoff got killed. Is it Set Off? Takeoff
for the Migos.
Take off.
And then you see a few guys and getting killed, and you realize and say, hang on a second, this environment, where does this environment comes from? An environment comes from as a byproduct of the elders. You know what I mean? They're living in that zone. And the more I think about it, I believe that we do have a level of responsibility for the children who are growing up in this world, because they're going to be the future. And because of that, as they normally say, sometime once they reach a certain age, then gone. But I think we cannot give up on anyone to a certain extent. And it's so very important now that
No,
even with the advent, yeah, even with the advent of the phone has its plus and the phone has its minus. And there's a video going around with Cardi B. Cardi B was there with her fans talking all some stuff, cussing and blah blah blah. Her child came in the room and she turned it off. She stopped it. She don't want her child to hear what she's dishing out to the public.
But Silburn,
Mm,
the common, when I look at all countries, all sectors in these countries, like especially the popular sectors are the main sectors, right? When you look at the NBA, look at the NFL. When I look at the schools, when I look at the dancehall society, when I look at the hip hop society, there is one thing that is missing, a main thing, even in the gangster world, the gunman world, the badness, elders. There's no more OGs, there's no more elders there. So we have seen in Jamaica where Christopher Coke was taken out of West Kingston, out of Jamaica. And it's like the center drop out, right? We have seen where Zeke's and other men, other influential men out of these gangs, and listen, I'm not saying it's right. What I'm putting forward is what has happened. So Western Jamaica had scamming for a while now. The violence was not there until the OGs, the OG dons got either arrested or killed. We start seeing the violence because everybody was young, everybody was hot-headed. There's no systematic leadership there. We have seen that in the NBA too, where guys are wilding out and spending money and going broke and doing all type of stuff, And so when we look across the spectrum, the mentors, the OGs, the elders, the general them is missing. And again, go to my earlier point, the community, the village, who is the patriarch, who is the matriarch, what persons we look up to. If I am when I was in Jamaica and I'm in my early 30s and they must say elder, they must call me elder.
yeah.
I mean, I come here and say, who
When you get old.
So if they look at me as 30, 31, I say elder, it is a psychological message that he is not even expecting to live long. So a person in the early 30s is looked upon as elder, and this is multiplied across generations to come in. The thing with the parents is that Jamaican society set up a funny way, right? So I am living overseas. So for example, say I am taking care of my mom, right? And the money my mom is getting, she's taking care of my brother, right? And my brother's children. So my brother doesn't need to work, and then my brother's children come and see their father never working, but him were the latest thing, because guess what? Big brother they are foreign and send him stuff, My brother then may meet a girl overseas also, and she has sent him stuff. So the children is seen a living example in front of them. Said they don't have to work. And this is and in Jamaica, this is multiplied across the society. Right?
Yes.
In the uptown people have their money. If a young man in a Campion or JC or Hillel does something outrageous or disrespectful, because father or grandfather is Mr. Big Man, Mr. Chin, or Mr. Enriquez or whoever, him not get punished. Him know, right? And if him get punished, it's a 2-day outside of school and he'll come back and everything good.
Yes.
So the lessons that adults are passing on to children is that, look here, have to really do the work to get by.
Yeah.
And that's why when you see a young man or a young woman from the ghetto actually get 10 subject or 15 subject, or they matriculate to university, they make a big hullabaloo about it because it's a rare occurrence. It shouldn't be. People going to university from the lower socio-economic background should be something normal.
You're right about that. I noticed it a lot, whereby somebody graduate from university, they always have this story. They used to be whatever, blah blah blah, and I noticed it's being regular a lot. But I want to really move away from this topic. I really want to touch on the America, regarding the red wave and the recent elections. I don't know if you guys have followed it to a certain extent. Jody, are you having time?
A little. I mean, yes, we can talk about it.
I mean, the only thing I pick up from the American thing is that it reminded me of when David Cameron and Nick Clegg joined forces, the Lib Dem party and the Conservative, whereby there was this sounding message that came from the voters that none of you guys we have confidence in directly. You guys need to work together. And with America, what I'm picking up is the voters have spoken to say that, not Republican, not Democrat, even Trump, all the people that he endorsed them went bad, and the one that he didn't support, which was Ron DeSantis, got well. People are sending a very strong message saying, hey, we got to work together. Move away from the Trump. Move away from Biden. We need new blood in. And that's what
Which is, I think, is the same thing. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Close the votes were also.
Sorry?
You saw close the votes when two sides were.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think, though, I think it's not just going to happen in the US, it's going to happen right across the world. I think UK saw a lot of changes too in their election, where people are trying to find people who makes sense, who represents them well. I don't know when Jamaica will call election. You and Bro God are close
Do you think Jamaica is doing well with a very eloquent leader?
At this point in time, as I've said before in the last year, there's nothing I can take from the JLP at this point in time and their leadership, because I've seen changes in Jamaica and I have grown up in the two parties leading for the last 40 years, and I've seen some significant changes in how they structure and do things, and they're getting things done. Things that should have been done 10, 20 years ago are being done now. And I agree with what they're doing so far and what their plans are for the future for Jamaica. And I wouldn't just say, okay, because it is JLP or PNP, but anybody that brings change to a nation and sees the vision for the country on a whole is doing great. The only part that I'm disappointed with, and Lester alluded to it earlier, is the education system. We are too far behind, and I don't think we are taking hands-on to what needs to be done, because we are years behind with education. I am worried about not just my children. I'm not so worried about them. I'm worried about the next generation, because it's going to impact them more. And why I say that is this generation kind of have a weird tip of the scale kind of thing going on, because where we don't have to teach them in school, they can teach themselves by being educated through the internet. What's going to happen is that this wave of recession that's going to hit the entire world is going to put the next generation, which is probably my 5-year-old and his age group, at a huge disadvantage, because what's going to happen is we're going to end up resorting to a way of life that was before all this technology. And it's going to be sad, because they won't know how to survive. And if we don't fix the problem soon, it's kind of two-waved, because those who recognize that the problem that is coming in Jamaica has put things in place to be recession proof, because Jamaica is actually growing a lot faster than we're seeing with our physical eyes in terms of technology and commerce, in terms of setting up things that are going to save us in the next 10 years, compared to other countries, or like ours, like Caribbean countries and other countries. We've aligned ourselves well with the international market. We've aligned ourselves with a name that is legendary to the entire world. Any country you go and say Jamaica, they know who we are for what we produce. Whether it's teachers, whether it's sports, whether it's athletics, whatever it is. So they're always going to look to Jamaica, and we strategically placed ourselves in a good place. And as I said, this government has done some things that should have been done a long time ago that would put us in a better place now, if it was done 10 years ago. But we are looking good for the next 5 to 10 years compared to other countries that have not made these steps. I just want to see us get the education right, because while my 11-year-old may be able to survive, I'm not sure about my 5-year-old category group, because they're going to be at a huge disadvantage if there isn't a change in the education system soon. Because that's kind of where we're heading.
It's interesting that you brought up recession, because the topic of the evening was solution for youth and recession, the UK recession, because they're talking about a 2-year recession, the mother of all recession, which they've called it. And while that is happening now, they're saying people are getting ready, wringing their hands in glee to say that opportunity, opportunity, opportunity. And the question now that people need to look at is, how can we survive through a recession? What are the ways to actually be, you said it, recession proof ourselves, as we are embarking into this zone? Lester, you're saying? You're shaking your head?
When I saw the topic, I was like, I know the UK one.
Yes, the whole world. The whole world. It's gonna happen to all of us.
Yeah.
Germany is in a bad state.
Yes.
Silburn, you wouldn't understand. Germany is in a bad state. Belgium, the Netherlands. I went to the supermarket today and just walking around and looking at some of the prices and I'm like, this is ridiculous. I mean, a year ago, literally 10 euros, I could have used 10 to 12 euros, and that would serve me for the week in terms of groceries. Right? And the 2-liter bottle of oil that I used to buy for like €1.57 is now €7.40.
From what period to what period? What period is that?
This year.
Within a year?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, but that's the same thing happening in Jamaica. My mother and I were calculating something for our catering, because my mother runs a catering company. And we were looking at a price that was sent by a bank for her to do a catering, and say, are these people crazy? I mean, you are the bank, for God's sake. You should know that the prices for things have literally tripled, sometimes 10 times what they were a year ago. So you can't have a budget of a year ago that you're presenting now post-COVID and expect for the budget to do the same thing that it did 2 years ago. It's ridiculous. And you're just looking at the price of basic things. Bread, a bread in Jamaica is almost $500 for a loaf of bread. You understand? And some families, depending on how they eat bread, will go to 2-3 breads a week, depending on the size of your family and how you eat bread. But I'm just saying that it's the recession is everywhere, and I think we need to start having these topics. We should have had it during COVID. As I said, a lot of what we're doing now are in retrospect to the fact that we should have been preparing for this. Yeah, we're catching up, and this is the same thing I was talking about in COVID. We have to make sure that we're putting plans in place for the post-COVID effect. And then you don't have people working for 2 years, all of these things, and then you're catching up, man.
But Jody, I remember clearly, during COVID, when we were in that dark zone, and every time we mentioned the word COVID, they shut us down. But you always came out and said, I'm worried about the youths, the children. You always said it, and now you're seeing the results.
You're seeing it happen, because I said it to the best way I could explain it. You incarcerate somebody for 2 years. You introduce them to a different way of life for 2 years. And remember that when you incarcerate them did lock up in a one space where them never used to, a culture what they were running from. You know, some of them were running from abuse, physical, emotional, sexual abuse at home.
The school was a saving grace.
School was their escape. And
Wow.
now you let them out without even finding out what did you go through in the last 2 years. How can we help you mentally, physically? And if I see adults, I mean, adults did not deal with it well. So much more children. And then we put them back in an environment where tell them, go learn. And we go back to the same book and pencil kind of learning. And so you're stifling them, you're killing them, you're putting more stress on top of stress that they already have. So them are going to draw a tool before, so them are going to draw a gun, so them are going to draw a knife, because guess what? They don't know other way to deal with all this conflict and turmoil that they're dealing with mentally, physically, emotionally. They were exposed to so many things, so their level of coping is almost gone. An adult is hard to cope with a life situation and a crisis. So much so an untrained child we wait sometimes 18, 19, 20 years before we go through some situations. These teens, these children, let me not even call them teens, children, because it's happening in our primary schools too. They are now dealing with this huge amount of stress and the responsibility of dealing with it in a responsible way, when they didn't have time to even grow to understand the responsible way to deal with it, because their parents are frustrated. Them tell them to go sit down and left them alone. Then tell them to go on kaya mana oman, and they learn all these things on their own, or they are their parents and them on the same wavelength. So them go the same dance together, dress the same way, do the same things together. The father them might say, all right, or the uncle them, or the friend them, and the bigger heads, who is considered the bigger heads, we say, come, we need to go on road, go make money. And instead of saying, you know, when they talk about going road, go make money, it's go rob people or go scam, and these are the things you're exposed to. And then you push them back in a school system and say, because you are within this age, you have to be in school. And 2 years, them never have to do it. Why them have to do it now? Why me I go to school, Silburn, figure learn, when I was home scamming, hustling, and making money? Why? Why am I have to go to school? Tell me why. You're not making sense, because of this me go continue do for the rest of my life.
Yes.
Some of the young girls were being pimped out to whomever, and then make them money and then buy them hair and them do them nails and all these other things. Why me have to go to school, go sit down in one class? Why?
Yes. Go on, let's tell. Hi, Vita. How are you? Mrs. Lester Gale. Yes.
Jody, you're so right. You know, let me take it from the top go down. Recession proof. This. Young people are now, there's a deficit in the labor force now. Right? All over the world. Skilled workers, carpenter, mason, electrician, plumber, huge deficit, right? Because those persons are not taking on those courses anymore, right? So persons in the skill area are older and retiring and moving out of that area. So you don't have enough persons moving into, because guess what? Why should I go on a construction site, right, and mix mortar, lift up a bag of cement, when I can just pick up my phone, scam, and make money? Or I can create content. There's so many content producers now.
Yeah.
Not just Jamaica, but worldwide. Just so
Worldwide, yeah.
They don't have to speak. Like Kaba.
So many content producers.
Yeah.
So when even in the workforce, if somebody's working and like a boss or supervisor or manager speak to him or her a particular way, this person say, "Me not have to take this."
Yeah.
You know,
That's the
if on a
attitude.
content, there's so many job opportunities online where you can do stuff for companies, several companies, and then pay you. right? I have friends in Jamaica who they have them 9 to 5, and they work from home, and then do far more work for other companies all over the world, and they make like maybe like 2,000 US a month, right? That's for example, right? And them not interested in do them regular 9 to 5 job because they get so much money. Persons are looking now different ways in how to cope, and not just coping of really live. So you be surprised. You see, when persons tell me say, "Oh, Jamaican people are suffer," not saying that there's not some level of poverty. You know, not saying that there's not some level of poverty. Not to how it's been advertised. Not to how it's been advertised. Believe, Silburn, you would like see, and I'm not talking scammers now. Regular guys who are do them regular job or regular business or entrepreneurship, when they go to these strip clubs, when they go to these bars, when they go to these parties, and the money pull up thing, regular dudes, not a drug dealer or scammer, I shell out $100,000 on the selector like this, the money pull up because them favorite song I play, right? So people are creating additional income for themselves. What is it? Is that it is not a formal structure that is teaching them this. Is they are taking it upon themselves. But what happened now is that what I've seen a lot online is that the scammer lifestyle, the chopper lifestyle. There's this video of this little boy. He's no more than about 8 or 9, and hello, miss, I'm calling you today for your prize, and this, and he's like maybe 8 or 9, and
he thinks it's normal.
In a uniform,
he thinks it's normal. That's how normal it has become. He thinks it's normal. He thinks what he's doing is right, and there's nothing wrong with it.
But also,
there's nothing. That's their mindset.
A lot of girls prostituted themselves throughout the pandemic, right? You had so many young girls going into that era where they dance topless, dance nude, prostitute themselves, young girls, 15, 16, 17. And what happened? They made so much money. Now, how you, Silburn, you're an attorney, and you will make, say for example, say £2,000 a month. Your daughter is 15 and she'll make £3,500 a week. How can you as a parent now scold her and talk to her? You cannot.
You see, it's there's a breakdown in morals and standards. That's what it is.
Silburn, I would not even, and I'm gonna tell you why. I don't believe in that 100%.
Yeah.
And I need to understand survival mode. And unless you've been in survival mode, you would not understand. Remember that, say for example, tourism is huge in Jamaica. And when these persons work in tourism industry, many times it's not their salaries that keeps them surviving in the hotels, it's the tips. And when we had thousands of tourism workers go home during COVID, remember them have 2, 3, sometimes 4 or 5 children. And if you cannot feed 4 or 5 children, if you can't, I don't want to get emotional about this, you know. I'm a mother of 2 sons, and I tried to create a life for them where they're not in need of anything. And if I feel at any point in time like my business is not going well or anything like that, and I feel like our livelihood is being threatened, survival mode switches on, you know, right? Think about a single mother with 2 teenage girls, probably the boys not too far apart, and they need to survive. Things are going to be done. A young guy go look on his mother and say his mother now work, he must go do something because everybody hungry. And mommy will get frustrated, and as soon as mommy get frustrated, she'll go beat all of them backside, somebody will get thump up. Something is going to go on. So the physical, emotion, mental, financial strain has pushed a lot of people into survival mode. And that is what COVID did for a lot of Jamaicans. They went into survival mode. Some people use their Lexus and them buy stuff and sell out of them car, mostly farm goods. Some people went into farming. Some people who went into farming during COVID are still in farming because they say it don't make no sense to go back to the hotel. You understand?
So the survival mode is still there. It's still there at the same time.
You have to understand that if you were, just like Lester said, if you were making $60,000 a month when you were working a job, and you found something that worked for you, that made you double and triple that money,
you know, go back.
Why would you go back to a norm you call a normal way of living or the right way of living? Why? Because you've learned a way to survive even better than you were surviving before.
Jody, your oldest son is how old?
My 11.
All right. Imagine your 11-year-old start pulling 150,000 a week. How you gonna discipline him?
We can't discipline him. He's making more money than me. Let me tell you something. I use a system of reward and punishment for my kids. It's always been my way of doing things, right? Since things have not, as I said, things in my business sometimes get low. We found a way to use. We have paper money that we use as a reward system, right? They're all US dollars, right? They all get a certain amount of US dollars for the week, right? And they learn to manage it. Whether they're going to pay for food, I'm going to reward them if they do their homework. And sometimes this homework is stressing, not even me no want to do it. So I'm going to reward them for do it. You understand? I might pay them at $20 or something, for doing their homework because it's work. They're working, right? That's how I see it. And if they don't do it, then something is taken away from them. They don't get access to the internet. They don't get the tablet. They don't get the phone, right? So they know they have to work for what they want, right? But if my 11-year-old, right? The other day he told me that I have over $100,000 for him, right? Him start telling me what I want to do with the money, Lester. You understand? And imagine if he was earning that on his own. We can't talk to him. Because he can buy what he wants, and have to wait for mom if he do nothing.
So what are we saying then? I know the survival mode there, but
we have to understand Silborn at this point in time, and this is not just a Jamaican thing, this is right across the world, which is why we have discipline issues. This is why nobody's listening to anybody, right? And this is why we have a breakdown in society. If you are a lawyer and I'm a scammer, we're both making the same money, what you can say to Miss Silborn? Can't say nothing to me because a dollar is a dollar. You can buy it, I can buy it too.
Yeah, I hear that. I hear all of that. The point I'm trying to say then is, if someone is scamming and someone is doing something illegal, it is something illegal, and the end of it, in a way, more than likely, they are going to end up in prison or hurting someone. And of course, I understand it's all about the money and it's about survival. But the question I'm talking about, and I go back to the bit about moral compass, are we saying that is gone out of the window because of the survival mode and making money? Because if that's the case, then the game's up. I do understand the reality of life. I don't understand.
I don't answer you.
Saying that.
I hear the answer. Interested now. You see, we are stuck on a colonial moral compass. We are stuck on a 1960, 1970.
Let's. I want to stop. I want to stop it there, because when I mentioned there a while ago, are we saying scamming and thieving people money?
Let me go through the point.
Okay, all right, got you.
But I'm saying no.
Run with it.
Whether, because I don't agree with it, but I'm telling you what is. The moral capacity now, or the moral compass now, is a whole different norm. Right? So what you and I and Jody and Vita and other persons and O'Neill and other person might say, this is not ethically or morally right. That is for us. That is for our generation. That's how we were raised. How our children are raised now is a whole different moral compass. So they may be doing some stuff. Because listen, Jamaican society don't see scamming as something bad. I have Nigerian friends. And my Nigerian friend said, Lester, these people are stupid. We use our mouth. We didn't use a gun, our mouth, and we take their money from them. You're stupid. What did we do wrong? We didn't hold a gun to their head. You can't, when I'm saying, I say it's true. Them never stick them up. So many societies who do this, right, don't see it as illegal or something bad. They don't,
and this actually existed and normalized in other countries like Haiti and Nigeria and India long before it came to Jamaica.
Yeah.
The question
This
is,
existed, and we're not saying it's right, Stillborn, but what I'm saying is you have to understand it's like
prostitution existed many years before all of that.
Yes, and we're not saying, you're not understanding what we're saying.
Are you understanding?
It's like a hack to life. It's like a hack. You know how we're always finding an easier way to do things? It's like a hack to life that has become so normal that it's almost not wrong in anybody's sight. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, because
it isn't even about what we think about morals anymore. If you're caught, you know for sure you're going to jail. You understand? Because there is a law against it. But what I'm saying is you have to understand that people's mind and thinking has changed. How do we deal with that is a whole different things, because you have to reculture people from grassroots up. And if we're not reculturing in our educational system already, then we're kind of lost for the next couple of generations if we're going to start all over again.
Are we saying this, ladies and gentlemen, and I put this out there, are we saying then, and let's say you're right, because standards also depends on also the era, the time. So therefore, the standards of myself and maybe the standard of today is a bit different. But at the same time, there's wrong and there's right. Is it that wrong and right is changed now? Is it wrong and right is changed? So therefore, what we were taught many years ago, so therefore, Adam and Steve then is okay.
Perfect point. No.
I just dropped that there.
Point.
Yeah.
Perfect point. Now, okay, like coming from Jamaica, a highly homophobic society, right? Or so they say, right? Coming here in Europe and seeing men openly show affection or intimacy, right?
So another.
But yeah, it bugs me out. Like when I just come here, I don't know what to do, you know. And I remember one case, me that moved towards two youth, and then I have to hold up myself and say, "Shucks," and a Jamaican me there. I'm stand up to celebrate and watch my two youth. Them like, I mean, I'm about 10 feet from them, you know. I'm stand up so I watch them a kiss, and I'm like, damn. Now for me, I say that no, it not freak me out again because I see it so much, right? I've been to Jamaica recently, and I see, you know, gay people and gay, you see gay people. We go in a store or institutions, and that guy are clearly gay. When we grew up, he couldn't be alive. But people are loving who them. I mean, accept that.
I want to.
No.
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that me don't think I have the alienating right to dictate to another human being what him see as right or wrong. Me not have the right to dictate to him what him or she see as right or wrong. You know, and it's difficult, but
why are you stuttering? Why are you stuttering?
He's stuttering now.
How me to tell somebody?
I thought I was the only one who noticed that he was stuttering.
No, what I'm saying, you know, how me to tell, look on a next man and tell him who for love, right? And tell him say it's wrong, say him love this person. So am I wrong or is he wrong? You know, you get what I'm saying, wrong or right? Change what it now.
Vita, good evening. How are you doing?
Good evening.
Hi, beautiful.
Good to be back. I had to step in because when we that morals is not normal.
Are we cutting out a bit, Vita? Why are we cutting out, Vita? We're cutting out. I don't want to lose any words you're saying. She was cutting out a bit.
When we're saying that no longer a factor, can you hear me?
We can hear you. We can hear you once
Okay.
once you get the words, but sometimes I notice. Well, keep talking. Let me see. Let's see how it goes.
Once we are saying that moral factor, there's no wrong or right. Oh,
we're losing.
Yeah, your volume will go up and down. I didn't know what.
Speak, Vita.
Morals is no longer important. That's not what you guys are saying. That morals is no longer up.
There's a delay. Maybe she stopped using the microphone.
If you come on.
Is a situation that my perspective as far as be different from what society is saying. But we have to look at the society. Scamming is wrong. We know that. Where I live, they're going on because they're scamming people, and they're going after it's been said. It's the Jamaican people. So it goes back. Feed into in Jamaica because that's right. Because the children is seeing me. He's living free. Nothing happens. Scammer is taken out. Is with another scammer.
Vita, one moment, Vita. One moment. It's coming through the same way. So put that speaker back in. Put the thing back in your ears because we're losing some words. But since it's the same thing, might as well. Are you okay, guys? Jody, and you're picking it up. What she's saying?
Sorry for disconnect it then from and not use the earphone.
Yeah, disconnect it and not use the earphone. That's what I was trying to say. Yeah.
Or maybe to she's gonna try and come back in here.
But
what she's saying. Yeah.
It's what Vita said a while ago. Just say scamming is wrong, right? For she, right? You cannot look at a family who moved from being in a 1-bedroom house, right? Dirt floor, bathroom outside, right? And the son come in chop the line, right? And him build up 1 3-story house, right? Now this family before that,
I'm shaking my head just like how you do sometimes. Let's say that's all.
This family never had an opportunity or a vision that they would come out of this 1-room board house. This chopping thing come on now, this scamming thing come on. I'm not justifying it. I'm telling you how people are visioning it. So one person in the community do that, and next son say, but me can do that too, and him do it too. And then it start. So how can you tell this whole community of people, this whole section of people, that this is wrong?
Lester.
And I'll take it a step further, Silburn, and to what Lester is saying. We with moral standards know that this is not with a different moral standards. Know that this is not right.
Yeah.
Because of how we were brought up, this is how we were socialized. You understand what I say, Silburn?
Yeah,
we were brought up, we were socialized this way. Listen, there's a whole generation of children, teenagers, and young adults that were shown that this is a way of life.
Yeah.
Can I just,
you understand? They were taught that this is a way of life. So there.
Listen, pushing jugs is a way of life. Am I correct?
And there was a whole culture that believed that was right.
Right. So it's okay. So therefore, pushing jugs is deemed to be illegal, isn't it? If someone is caught doing that, okay, and be incarcerated. Scamming or chopper or whatever you call it, if someone is caught doing that by the law, will they be incarcerated? I'm just asking that question.
Yes, but
by law,
no.
Yes,
I'm dealing with
the
yes or no.
Yes, the answer is yes. The answer is yes, Silborn.
Okay.
Right?
So
The
therefore, it
answer
not-
is yes.
So therefore, so wait, let's. I'm just breaking it down. So therefore, if someone is doing something which is illegal and deemed to be a criminal offense and will be incarcerated, and just because they are able to take their family from a 1-bedroom to a 3-story mansion with Lexus and whatever like that, that is saying to others that you should do this. This is a way out. Of course, it's a
Yes.
way out. No. Of course, it's a way
Yes.
out. But is it a legal way out?
No, but then Silver, you're not getting what we're saying.
And then we
There,
say
you see,
survival.
drugs was not as glorified, or it was glorified, but it could not have spread the way that scamming did because we never have social media. You need to understand the era. It's just like with everything else that is happening in society. This is one of them. And this is a part of the moral compass of Jamaica, which has broken down, and we don't know how to bring it back, because one of the things is it is hard to catch scammers if the way they are doing it. You understand? So you're not seeing enough people being incarcerated. Nobody's intimidated by the process because the process is so late and so delayed that, hey, I can get away with this for 10 years. They know this.
I see a new topic, and the topic is what's the topic we have to coin for next week? Morals. Is your moral and my moral, is it the same?
No two morals are the same.
No two morals are the same.
Sorry?
No two morals are the same. We teach this in it's a part of our social psychology course that we do in nursing, and we use it at understanding individuals as individuals. Your culture is different from my culture, and so is Lester's culture different from we three of us have 3 different moral compasses based on how we were brought up, based on our religion, based on it's based on a number of things. Our morals are all different, but societal morals change based on a lot of different things. Growing up, Sunday school was normal for most Jamaican children, or Sabbath school was normal for most Jamaican children. This has changed. You have people who are teenagers now, adults, young adults, 21, who's never ever been to church.
Yeah.
That's a huge 20-year gap of something that was seen to be normal 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the morals of the society and individuals have changed.
It's very interesting, and
But Silver, can I ask a question, Silver? You bring up the drugs thing. I'm glad you bring it up. Now, look at how marijuana was treated, right?
Yeah.
Look at how marijuana is treated now. You know how many guys, Jamaica and US and Canada were incarcerated because of a spliff, right? But look at it now.
Now I need investors. Lester, you don't want to be an investor?
Of course.
I have a plan, we need to talk.
No.
Yes.
Look here now. Talk to my agent. You know what my agent. Talk to my agent.
Yeah, man. We need to talk.
If you look at that, you and I and Jody, we grew up in a particular era where ganja was demonized, right?
Yes.
But throughout that whole era, even in the 80s, 90s, and now, the Jamaica Tourist Board, Billboard, poster boys, who? Bob Marley.
Bob Marley.
What them on? A ganja spliff them on.
Yes.
While it was illegal in Jamaica, this was what we're portraying.
Look here, I am still going through that moral talk with even my family, even though recognizing that this has helped my medical condition, which I developed seizures with, and it was marijuana that has helped me stabilize and have a normal life, because all the drugs that the doctors prescribed for me gave me huge side effects. And it's until I started doing
right?
To them it is not morally right. I have liberated myself through science, and I had to liberate myself because I had thoughts and thinkings about it as well.
I would tell you that that's morally wrong to use marijuana.
No.
Yeah, but that no. You see, you have to understand now.
No. Hang on a second. The moral part is different now with marijuana. It's about you know, use the word pushing. Pushing is what I did before, not using it, pushing. But anyway, guys, we can go on with this topic now. And I realize it is a very hot topic. A guy wanted to come in a while ago, but he says, see, like I'm winding down. I have to wind down because we've gone to 2.5 hours, and I'm trying to keep it within 2 hours. But we got to touch this again, Jody. Nice to see you on the fire and everything like that. We got to bring this topic next week. about, because what I'm picking up here very strongly is that one cannot scoff or cough at somebody who is actually in an impoverished state and you not help them. They might help themselves. And it's difficult for someone to actually say to them, don't do something when you're not helping them in a way. And but there's a big concern in regards to what is right and what is wrong. And the question is, what is right? What is wrong? Is it depend on society? Is it depend on the era? It is depending on lifestyle, moral compass. We got to deal with this. We got to talk about this.
And I think Silborn, in the future we need to have I don't know how Lester can, pull the strings. We need to speak to somebody, or education system. I know we did some time ago. I don't remember if it was during COVID or earlier this year. About dealing with how we're going to manage the education system. Because, as Lester says, we need to look at futuristic ways of dealing with how we educate our children and what we're preparing them for. They're not going to be prepared. 15 subjects are not going to prepare them for the next 10 years. It's not.
I think, Jody, we need someone and people who will come and speak freely, not speaking with restrictions. And that is what is happening. A lot of political correct and nobody want to rock the boat. We need some free.
Nobody want to deal with the actual issues.
Yeah, we need someone who can just blast it because, as we can see. But
the young lady, Eleanor, she's an education officer and she's willing to come on and speak about, things. And believe me, she has seen a lot. A lot. And so she's an educator, but she has moved up into the whole administrative.
Let's do it this way. Get someone from Jamaica, get someone from the UK, and get someone from the USA, and even from Canada or Africa. Get someone from the continent of Africa as well. Let's do.
I know somebody from the US who's in the teaching system very well.
Let's get an international consortium and look at this world. But that is dealing with
Janice, watch Big Up Yourself, Janice.
That is something to deal with the education, and then we got to do another one dealing with the moral compass bit there, with all of these things, which my brain is trying to get through.
That one's gonna go. It's gonna go a lot of ways, Silborn, because we all have our own moral compasses, and I always say, one of the things that we learn is learning how to respect people for their beliefs. As I said, is one of the things that we teach in our program too. We have to learn to respect individuals for individuals and their thought processes. We are taught to teach to deal with people equally. That's one of the hardest things I had to deal with as a nurse, just learning how to deal with people as people and not as what their thought processes are, what they do with. I mean, there are many times I had to nurse a prisoner handcuffed to a bed who did something that would be morally and lawfully wrong for me, but I had to learn
because that's your profession.
That case. It's not even just a profession. You have to understand that you have to morally put what your feelings are aside, because you have your own morals and standards. You have to put that aside and deal with somebody who goes against everything that's in you that's morally wrong.
Yeah, but at the same time, Jody, as they say, a lawyer job is to defend his client irrespective whether he's guilty or not. A nurse's job or a medical professional is to push aside everything. Just like if police shoot up a gunman or blah blah like that and they go to the hospital, nobody's gonna say, I'm not gonna touch him. Everybody's gonna put hands on deck. That bed comes in, everybody's gonna hands on deck, and not thinking about whether I'm a murderer or what. So, but anyway,
Silver. Maybe a quick story. I'm working at the Ministry of Finance.
10 minutes in the list. Go on.
No, man. I'm working at the Ministry of Finance, right? So I'm working at
the back
gate. I'm working at the back gate, right? So this guy is a lawyer, but he was accused to be a homosexual, right? My coworker now, he must say, "Oh, man, now open the gate for the fish," right? And the man out there,
what's a fish? What's a fish? Is it the barracuda? Sorry, go on.
Right. So the man said, You know what give for the fish. So I look on the man. Me say, brother, work, yeah, work. So I run go around now and open the gate and let in the man, tell the man good morning, right? And come in, let in the man. So I said to him, say, listen, if me say 2 man right as in front of me, I have sex, nothing to do with me. The man burn me out. So me I encourage me say, no, me not encourage them. Me I said that for them action have nothing to do with me. Me say, look here. Peter Phillips is the finance minister, me a big labor right. Everybody will come in here, so most of them are PMP. I'm gonna let them in. Good morning. Me not agree with them policy, me not agree with a lot of things. But Sidburn, me can make my moral compass or my political compass hinder me from feeding my family.
Yeah.
You understand me?
Because
I have seen persons who are security at the time also who were labor rights, who refuse to work at any of the gate them because they not open and lock the gate for the PMP. Me say on the sick now with head.
you know how to saying is a different thing because that's being a professional. You should be a professional. I'm talking about something different. Everything done there wasn't something illegal. Everything was there with a moral compass. I'm talking about the law. I'm talking about the legal factors. It's not about. As a matter of fact, maybe we should move away from moral compass and look at what is legal and illegal. Even though the same thing which is illegal may deem to be legal 5 years later or 2 days after, but you got to deal with something. Is it illegal or is it legal? Not moral. Let's forget the moral bit. That's the moral out of the door.
As a labor right, you have enough labor with things that all PMP for dead, you know. Morally, them things that all PMP for dead, you know.
Well, that's a wrong thinking. Just like Warmington, thinking to everybody a racist, with his racist mentality. Anyway, we go on another time about white man and them foolishness.
I just think he's in a very archaic time. You have to understand. People
can't believe that in this day, persons in parliament would say things like that. Shocking, totally shocking. Have a word with him, Lester. Tell him to come on the show and explain what he's talking about.
Stand with Warmington, you know.
Huh?
Stand with Warmington, you know.
You can stand with Warmington 50,000 times or something like that. But I think it's very.
Jody, why you stand with Warmington? My leader, Barney, you know.
All right,
I look for my dark glasses and I can't find it.
You can't find your dark glasses. Where's my? I got my dark glasses.
My leader, Barney.
I don't know where. Mine disappeared.
Jody,
My dark glasses disappeared. I can't believe. Disappeared.
Jody, just put your hand over your eyes. Just put your hand over your eyes like this. Bad boy. Hold on.
COVID still a keep on the stay there. COVID still a keep at Jamaica.
This is on the beach. You know?
It's not fair. I soon find my glasses. Don't worry.
But still, we have a moral topic that we need. And the topic with education, we need to have a real discussion about it, you know.
Yeah, man. I mean, the truth is, Silborn, the moral compass has changed. And whether it's legal or not, the moral compass has changed.
Yes.
I
agree.
It's just crazy what it is.
Yes.
Whether it's legal or not, the thought process of individuals have changed so drastically that it's even a topic. Even if you tell them it's legal, they're saying so what?
Yeah.
You know, that's how far it's gone. So, I mean, it's a lot of things happening.
They'll say to you as Ninja Man, say, run where? I'm not gonna say the next word or Ninja Man would I say.
Is who saying we don't wear mask anymore? Of course, we still wear mask in Jamaica. I can't go into certain banks without my mask.
Where's my mask? You wear a mask? I've got my mask somewhere.
Yeah, we're still wearing mask. I just bought this one last week. It's so cool.
Jamaica just still backward in certain things.
Sir, let me tell you something. When COVID broke out in the Netherlands, nothing. But COVID is keeping in Jamaica. We've had a number of, and I'm wondering why we don't have the numbers on the TV, but the numbers increased in the last month. By the way, the numbers are back up.
By the way, Chris Tufton, he's still a Minister of Health, isn't he?
Yes, and wellness.
He has resigned.
Why? Why?
No, I just checking because normally you'd hear all the COVID figures coming through. But anyway,
Yeah. No, they've been dealing with other things. They have other
Yeah.
questions to answer to, and they're being stressed.
About the $600 million?
So
About the $400 million?
well, there's
they have no question for your
no
answer.
question, no
And the
question.
nurse, them are going to strike, so that's another
Oh,
story.
Jody, do you know the
Marshall.
nurses striking in the UK?
Marsha Smith have that. We're good.
Yeah, but nurses are going to strike in Jamaica too.
I've heard that nurses who left Jamaica is going back to Jamaica because they can handle it in the UK. They're going back
Good
to
man.
Jamaica as well.
Jody, don't worry about it. We have that covered. Don't worry about
It is covered. I hope it is covered.
it. It's covered, baby.
You better cover it up.
You
Jody, you want to
understand?
get
I
me a
mean,
flight
I'm not in the public system and it doesn't affect me,
Jody,
but I'm
somebody
just
said they-
saying.
Jody, somebody said they want. Jody, you want to get me a flight to Jamaica?
Get me a, who is this? I don't know who that is.
Light
Light
speaker.
Who is light speaker? Where's light speaker from? I don't know who that
He's
person
in the
is.
UK here. He's in the UK.
He
here.
live on the internet.
He lives on the internet.
like Corey said,
Corey,
Corey,
I'm
where are
there.
you? Corey said, Corey, where are you? Where in the world are you? Silburn, I'm on the internet.
Well, you know, funny in the next few years, that's where all of us are going to live.
You know what? The
I'm just-
metaverse. I mean, look at what's his name with
I'm
the
just
metaverse.
saying.
But when you talk about Elon, you know, 'cause Elon, this
Elon an idiot, Sturati.
Elon-
Somebody needs to hurry up and take it. Did they take it back from him though?
The man suck everybody, man. It's a, if you don't come in there.
But he had to hire them back.
Some of them.
He had to hire them back to fix the problem.
Them saying get rid of all of the people that does the human rights and all those people there that keep.
It's not the violation, the community standards and
Elon just have a lot of money and don't know what to do. But you have to understand, you know, that
Elon bored.
Elon was years ahead of us. And so now that everybody's just catching up to him, he's really bored. For real, he is.
Elon is bored. You know what I mean? How you fire
He's bored. He just have a whole lot of money to spend.
How you fire
You know,
3,000
sense,
people
man.
one time?
Oh, you fire what?
3,000 people one time.
The interesting thing about Elon, they said Elon is upset because people are actually saying they are Elon.
Oh yeah, that's when he put in the verification thing. I mean, I'm not a Twitter user like that. I'm hardly ever on Twitter. I think my Twitter account was put up when Twitter just come in, just like Facebook and so on. And I have not been on Twitter for a long time.
He's really Sorry, Jody. Yeah.
He took off the verification thing, where you would need to verify that you are the official owner of an organization or you are this person process, because he wanted everybody to be verified in order to solve a problem. And what he did is created people who did the same thing. Guess what? I'm Elon Musk. And so they verified themselves, like a whole bunch of them. So now he became, you know, and then
what about Mark Zuckerberg? He had to lay off so many people at Facebook. Or Metaverse because Metaverse you don't need anybody now in it.
I mean, we were heading there a long time ago. I mean, as Lester said, there are countries that are light years ahead of us. Japan and China is heading there. There's Singapore is close. There are lots of countries that are light years.
South Korea.
They're like light years ahead of us. Like, you don't see people, you don't touch people, you don't interface with people a lot because everything is technology driven. You go to a restaurant and you're ordering from a computer, and the food is rotated to you without individual touching your food. There are robots fixing your food and bringing it to your table without you seeing an individual. When you go to buy clothes, there are these automatically racks that you punch in what you want and all these things. Wow. So there are countries that are light years ahead of us.
Yes.
And a lot that is light here ahead of us. We're catching up. I mean, you know, countries with more resources are going to catch up before we catch up. And
I'm light years ahead of you guys
saying.
because I'm already in my bed, man. Sleep. I'm light years ahead of you guys.
But Jody,
he's telling us to go. Yeah, we've been here long enough.
I'm in this really awesome group, and we had a group discussion about AI, right? and you know, there's some crazy things happening. But one thing I want to say, you see, where AI is going to go, and this is my prediction, my personal prediction. School as we know it and learning as we know it is going to be obsolete, like the physical school.
Exactly. Which is I'm saying our education needs to change.
Remember in the Matrix where Neo wanted to learn how to fly a helicopter, and the operator teach me how to fly like the D-10 helicopter,
and it just comes up.
You might run towards the helicopter and you just upload the flight manual system in my head, and by the time you reach the helicopter, it can fly, right? That's where AI is going.
Of course. But you see, the thing is, AI is so cool now. Like, I just need to, like I just said something the other day, and it all came up on my phone. I'm like, shoot, this AI thing is serious. Like, I was just talking about, you know, doing a course on this whole cybersecurity thing, and before I know it, there was a course uploaded on my email about cybersecurity.
Shopping.
And I'm like, it happens all the time.
Yeah, Google.
Yeah, man, they're not joke.
Google do the thing, man. Google do the thing.
Yeah, man, they're not joke, man. And I'm saying, you know, if this is just light technology to us, can you imagine if we were in, you know, other communities where, you know, we had access to more?
But I'm sorry for women, because I mean, there's like 5 billion women in the world, or something like 4 billion women in the world to men, right? When I've got to start get some robot partner, that the women are gonna be billions of women are gonna be without a real life physical human being, because there's not enough men.
Do you realize that more women are thinking they don't need men now because they're creating all these things for women?
Yes.
I'm just saying we have to deal with that reality.
Yes. But what I'm saying is that there's not enough men, you know. But the countries like Japan, China, Singapore, Taiwan, these countries, there's not the ratio of men to women, right, is so great that them.
But you realize that we already have a deficit, though, right, in the world, of babies being born to people dying, because women no longer want to have children.
And as I said earlier before you came on, that Jamaica's birth rate has slowed down dramatically, you know.
And it's gonna get worse.
Girls are now having like this one pitney. You understand me?
Okay, guys, have a drink.
Good night, Silburn.
You drinking, Lester? What are you drinking?
Or is it good morning?
Water.
Lester, what time? What's the time difference now? Because time went back on some of us.
1:41 now.
Okay, so
all right. Good morning, guys. It was wonderful talking.
What time is it, Jody? What time is it there in Jamaica?
7:41.
Oh, you got a long one night. Okay.
Big up to my Facebook fans who have joined us. Big up to my Instagram fans. Big up to my group, my political group, and my other social groups. Guys, love you. Thanks for the support. You don't know, blogging God. So,
peace out. Jody, Marie, bless you.
Take care, guys. It's always a pleasure being here.
Light speaker, Vita. Boom, boom, boom. And thank you for the guys that came on earlier. Mr. Johnson, Danique, and Mr. Burchell. I think you know a couple of them, Lester. Is it Burchell, you know?
Oh.
Lester?
From the but I'm famous in the Silver, so all people know me, you know.
Vita has changed her colors. She have red and green. She's now joining up together in the different ones. So, you know. Anyway, guys, good night all.
All right.
Peace out. All right. Cheers. Goodbye.
Silver, lock me out, Silver.
I love you. I love you out straight to Virginia. Where are you? Love you. I'll transport you to the USA.
Just love you. Just love you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tonight and for the late one, not the late one, talking sip as we went overdrive. The good show tonight, talking to the JP, the Justice of the Peace from Jamaica, with the project St. Mary, solutions for young people, for Jody and Leslie for coming on, Vita, Mr. Johnston, Donique, and Mr. James. But the most important thing that came out at the end of the day is that all hands on deck. for the youths, and we have the solution. But also, what is very interesting, the whole big topic about moral compass. That's going to be another topic for another time. Moral compass. Where's that gone? What is illegal? What is legal? What was illegal sometime in the past? It is now legal. How can you tell someone that they shouldn't do something when they're actually earning a living? They're not killing anybody. They're not shooting anybody. That's a discussion for some other time. What can I say? Have a good night, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Silburn. Peace out. Talk and sit.